Hi all, today we are going to see a topic in relativity, that is length contraction. It is a consequence of Lorentz transformation equations. The Galilean transformation equations are invalid when the bodies are moving with a speed that is comparable to the speed of light. In our daily life, we are dealing with the motion having speed that is very much less than the speed of light. Then the Galilean transformation equations hold good there. But if the speed of the moving body is approaching to the speed of the light, Galilean transformation equations are invalid. Then the Lorentz transformation equations are connecting the coordinates of the two inertial frame of references. Here we have two inertial frame of reference S and S dash. S frame of reference is at rest and S dash frame of reference is moving along the positive x direction with a velocity v. That velocity v is constant. So if the frame of reference is at rest or it is moving with a constant velocity, those frame of reference are inertial frame of reference. Now for simplicity, we are taking two assumptions here. One is the origin O and O dash coincide at t equal to 0. That is, at the initial time, these origins O and O dash coincide. Second assumption is that the coordinate axes are parallel. That means x axis is parallel to x dash axis, y axis is parallel to y dash axis, and z axis is parallel to z dash axis. Then the space and time coordinates of these two frame of reference are connected by Lorentz transformation equations. They are x dash equal to gamma into x minus vt, y dash equal to y, z dash equal to z, t dash equal to gamma into t minus vx by c square. Where gamma is a very important parameter, that is equal to 1 by root of 1 minus v square by c square. Here this v, that is the speed of the moving body, is always less than the speed of the light. Therefore, this gamma will be always greater than 1. Now we can imagine a rigid rod in the S dash frame of reference, that is in the moving frame of reference. Let it be a scale. This scale is in the S dash frame of reference. So initially at t equal to 0, this O and O dash coincide each other. After that, this S dash is moving along the positive x direction with a constant velocity v. And in that S dash frame of reference, let there be a scale. Now an observer in the S frame of reference and in the S dash frame of reference is taking the measurement of this scale. The length of this scale in the S dash frame of reference is measured by the observer in the S and the S dash frame of reference. They are taking the position coordinates at the endpoint of these scales. Then for an observer in the S frame of reference, let these coordinates are x1 and x2, and for the observer in the S dash frame of reference, these coordinates are x1 dash and x2 dash. Then what will be the length of this scale measured by the observer in the S and the S dash frame of reference? In the S frame of reference, the length of this scale will be x2 minus x1, because the endpoints are x1 and x2. Therefore, the length of this scale according to the observer in the rest frame of reference is x2 minus x1. And for an observer in the S dash frame of reference, the length of this scale is x2 dash minus x1 dash. Now the question is, which length will be more correct? The length measured by the observer in the S dash frame of reference or S frame of reference? The length measured by the observer in the S dash frame of reference, x2 dash minus x1 dash, will be the more correct length, and we can call this length as proper length. Because this proper length is the length of the body, length of the scale measured in the frame of reference in which it is at rest. For the observer in the S dash frame of reference, this body is at rest. But for the observer in the S frame of reference, this body is moving. So this L0 is equal to x2 dash minus x1 dash is known as proper length or rest length, because for that observer in the S dash frame of reference, this scale is at a rest. So this length is called a proper length or rest length. And for the observer in the S frame of reference, this x2 minus x1 that we can denote as L, that is known as observed length. Now we can apply the Lorentz transformation equations. We have 4 Lorentz transformation equations, but here we require only the first one because the length of the body is along the x-axis. So we are considering only the x-coordinate. What is the x-coordinate Lorentz transformation equation? X dash is equal to gamma into x minus vt. Then what will be this x1 dash and x2 dash? X2 dash will be equal to gamma into x2 minus vt, and this x1 dash is equal to gamma into x1 minus vt. Here we can take the time coordinates in this x2 dash as t2 and the x1 dash as t1. But when an observer is taking the measurement of this scale, he had measured both the endpoints at the same time. Then only the measurement will be more accurate. So we can write here as T2 is equal to T1. So it is correct that x2 dash is equal to gamma into x2 minus vt, and x1 dash is equal to gamma into x1 minus vt. So this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. On taking the difference of these two equations, we are getting x2 dash minus x1 dash is equal to gamma into x2 minus x1. Here this vt2, vt1 terms will cancel because the measurements are taking at the same time. So t2 is equal to t1. So now what is this x2 dash minus x1 dash? x2 dash minus x1 dash is the proper length L0, that is equal to gamma into this x2 minus x1 is the observed length L. So the relation connecting the proper and the observed length is L0 is equal to gamma L, where L0 is the proper length and L is the observed length. Also we can write here as L is equal to L0 by gamma. That is gamma 1 by root of 1 minus v square by c square. So L is equal to L0 into root of 1 minus v square by c square. We know that this gamma is always greater than 1 because the moving body is having a speed that it must be always less than the speed of light. So when this v is less than the c, gamma is always greater than 1. So when this gamma is always greater than 1 means this L is always less than L0. That is, the observed length is always less than the proper length. This is known as length contraction. Therefore, the phenomenon of shortening or contraction in the length of an object in the direction of motion is called length contraction or Lorentz-Fitzgerald contraction. There will be no contraction in the direction perpendicular to the motion. That means there will be no contraction along the y-axis or z-axis. The contraction happens only in the direction of motion. And also it happens at the speed that is comparable to the speed of light, that is at a relativistic speed. What happens at ordinary speeds, that is in our daily life, when we are dealing with the motion of objects, this v is very much less than c. So when the speed of the body is very much less than the speed of the light, in this gamma expression, this v square by c square will be approximately equal to 0. So when v square by c square is equal to 0, this gamma become equal to 1. If the gamma is equal to 1, what will be the L0? L0 is equal to L. That is, at ordinary speed, this observed length L and proper length L0 both are equal. Therefore, the contraction in the length of the object is prominent at a relativistic speed. In our daily life, we are dealing with the ordinary speed, that is the speed of that moving body is very much less than the speed of light, so that is not observable to us. Then this proper length and this observed length both are equal. But if the body can move at a relativistic speed, this observed length will be less than the proper length. For example, we can take a 1 meter scale in the S dash frame of reference. Then we can write the proper length L0 as 1 meter. Let this velocity of this S dash frame of reference, let it be 0.1 c. Then what will be the observed length? Observed length L is equal to L0 into root of 1 minus V square by C square, that is 1 into root of 1 minus V by C square, that is 0.1 C by C square. That means it is equal to root of 1 minus 0.01, and on calculating we will get it as 0.995 meter. So the 1 meter scale is observed to be 0.995 meter if the speed is 0.1 c. Second, we can consider the motion at a speed which is 0.5 c, that is 50% of the speed of the light. Then what will be the observed length? That is 1 into root of 1 minus 0.5 c by c square. So 1 minus 0.25, that is root of 0.75, and this equal to around 0.866 meter. Also we can consider the third speed, which is 0.9 c, that is 90% of the speed of light. Then L is equal to root of 1 minus here 0.9 c by c square, that is 0.81, that is equal to 0.436 meter. So on looking these three examples, here we can see that when the speed of the moving body is 0.1 c, the observed length was 0.995 meter. Again, as the speed increased to 0.5 c, observed length is decreasing, that is 0.866 meter. And finally, when it is 0.9 c, the observed length is 0.436 meter. That is, the contraction is increasing as the speed is approaching to the speed of light. When the speed is 0.9 c, the contraction is more than 50%. So, at a relativistic speed, this length contraction is significant, but in our daily life, that is at ordinary speed, this observed length and proper length are equal. So, length contraction is a consequence of Lorentz transformation equations. When the body is moving at a relativistic speed, the length of the object appears to be contracting in the direction of the motion. If we are considering a sphere instead of this scale, what will be the shape of this sphere when the observer is looking from the S frame of reference? What happens? The sphere will contract. Whether the contraction will happen in the y and z direction? No, the contraction is happening only along the x direction. So the sphere contracts along the x direction, and for an observer in the S frame of reference, the sphere appears to be an ellipsoid. So that's all about the length contraction.